Okay, it's recording.
Yes. Okay. So welcome everyone. Wow. Just welcome to this sort of rather impromptu call. Kyra and I decided we've been sort of on a little hiatus the last, I don't know, couple of months or so. You know, holidays get in the way and things. And one of the things that we're going to look at very quickly and just discuss for momentarily, and we might as well just go ahead and do it here, is the fact that there's sort of a lot of people are sort of in a hiatus type time right now because I call it a holding pattern because that's just exactly where the collective is right now. And everyone's work is changing up a little bit. It's not so much that the work you've been doing is changing, it's more the way that it is being done is changing here. And to state it simply, what Kyra and I have seen and experienced ourselves personally in this change in the way that our work is being done is, to state it real simply and real basic, you know, you might as well forget planning and just go with the flow and allow it to happen in the moment, because that's what is changing. So in one sense, what this does, it makes us feel like there's like no ground to stand on. Sorry about that. That there's not a lot of stability. And we just simply feel that way because we're so used to the, I'm going to call it older way, but in all honesty, even that way wasn't all that old, because there was a change just about a year or so ago in the way a lot of people's work transpired. So, you know, all I can say is, you know, let go of expectations. Know that there is solid ground under your feet, even though you can't always feel it all the time, and learn to float. So, with that stated, Kyra, I never gave you a chance to say hello. You want to say hello this morning? So, we've come together for this impromptu because we weren't really planning on coming back to work, what we call our work, recording and sharing like in this fashion until after the first of the year. But there's a lot of information I want to share about an event that's transpiring actually today. This is December 8th, 2019, by the way. And the event that we want to talk about and share a lot of information about is Interstellar Comet Borisov is actually at Perihelion today, which means it is at its closest to our sun. And a lot of comets are significant, but what is most significant about Interstellar Comet Borisov is exactly that. The first word is interstellar. And it is only the second interstellar object to be officially confirmed, seen and confirmed within our solar system. And the first one was interstellar object Oumuamua in 2017. And it was not a comet. So this is actually the first interstellar comet. And it is known as Borisov. It has other designations, but we're just going to go with that one. Just a little bit of quick information back, because really what I'm going to do today is going to throw a lot of information at you. Information that you can just take and use as relates to your sacred contractual work, and just go from there. We want to say that the timeline for this interstellar comet Borisov energy effects on our reality existence spans from the strongest, okay, from about 12/22/18, yes, 2018, that's not a mistake, to 10/22/2020. So we're looking at a 22-month period there. It actually came into, and you're going to have to forgive me, I've got all my notes on my paper in front of me, so that's what I'm looking down at here. Trying to see, it came into our solar system somewhere between, Oh man, so much information, so many notes. It was somewhere between, okay, I can remember. It was somewhere between November 21st of 2018 and December 13th of 2018. That's when it actually came in. When they backtracked and, because they didn't find it until August they didn't spot it until August, maybe end of July of this year. It was officially named. This is interesting for those of you who work with Kyra and I on a pretty regular basis and who participated in the initial activation of the planetary soul star chakra on September 11th of 2019 of this year. Interstellar Comet Borisov is related directly to that. It was officially named as an interstellar comet, and with this name Borisov, on the 11th of September. So when we were actually doing that initial activation work of the planetary soul star chakra, this comet was actually being named that same day. Let's see, just other, significant information that shows the correlations and connections is what I'm sharing here real quick. Let's see, there was, excuse me. Let me look over here. I know there's another one, and it's not, I'm not pulling it to mind. So let me just look real quick here at my, Perihelion. Okay, just for a little more information that may seem be very significant to someone else and their sacred work, on 9/24/19 was when the formal announcement that it was indeed an interstellar object happened and occurred. There's still one more. It seems to be eluding me, so we're just going to move on, and maybe it'll come up. Oh, I know. Just this morning, this was the thing. This has been an interesting ride with this comet for me personally, I'll say, in the last few days. Once again, those of you who work with Kyra and I closely and have for some time know that, and I find this so interesting and a bit strange. We all know that in mainstream reality there are factions of dimensional realities that particularly don't want particular information shared, and so sometimes things transpire to make it a little more difficult to do that sharing. Well, with my initial sharing about this information, which is none of the details that I'm sharing here now, it was just like, oh, I'm going to talk about, so be looking for it. I was I say it in this way, tongue-in-cheek, incarcerated in Facebook prison. So in other words, it's just saying that there's something about this information that's very significant, that there are factions within other dimensional realities and would prefer it just to at least be slowed down and not shared. So we're just, once again, just throwing this information out there. Kyra, anything coming to mind right here?
Nope.
Okay. Oh, okay. Once again, for those who work with us and have been working with us for a while, just this morning at actually 9:09 a.m. this morning, when I was trying to finish up putting these notes together, information came through showing that this comet, this interstellar comet, actually has a direct connection to the third seeding of the Emerald Core that we did on December 22nd of 2018. So I find that highly significant and interesting also. So these are just showing the connections, how everything is connected. Sometimes we don't see it because we as humans, this is the way we look at things. It's like, okay, this happened and this happened and this happened. And a lot of times we forget the details, of the things that have transpired before, or we haven't looked at details of things that are going to transpire in our near future. I mean, we live on a linear timeline. So, I'm so sorry. To me, it's always exciting when we're shown that all of this is connected. We don't see it. I mean, we had no idea. I had no idea. None of us had any idea back in December of 2018 when we were in 2018 even prior to, but definitely the third seeding of the Emerald Core on December 22nd of 2018, that this comet existed, had just came into our solar system from interstellar space and was directly connected to what we were doing then and work we would be doing in 2019 with the initial activation of the planetary soul star chakra. It's also, just so that you know, it has a direct connection to, we'll be looking at all of this a little bit more when we get into the frequencies. It's got a direct connection also to that 17-8 Atlantean technology karmic imbalance, which is a collective karmic imbalance that we're currently, I'm going to say we're currently working on as a collective to rebalance. All right, so, here was the other thing that came up this morning. These aren't the frequencies that are truly affecting us the most right now, but I'm going to mention these very quickly because these are going to come into play and affect us energetically much more strongly around February 22nd of 2020. And that is the 411 dual frequency and the 2244 dual frequency. And with that, we are shown and given information that this is, I just love this stuff. I'll have to say, I do. There is a direct connection, once again, with Interstellar Comet Borisov and the 2222 gateway portal that we worked with. With the Emerald Core. I mean, the connections are just, it's like this puzzle piece fitting together. It's amazing. Okay, so if around February 22nd of 2020, two other frequencies other than what are really affecting us right now, we're going to get to those in just a moment, are going to come into play in the sense of that we're going to really start feeling the effects of these frequencies. The first one is the 411 dual frequency. Now, this is a frequency that we're very used to, that we've been working with for quite some time, several years. And I'm simply going to give I am keyword phrases. So if everyone would just kind of take a deep breath in this moment, and I will slow down when I share the I am keyword phrase so that you allow yourself to actually hear the words and feel the energy of the phrase, because it's the best way to connect to the energy and knowledge held within these frequencies. So the 411 dual frequency, its Metatronic numerology, I am keyword phrase is, I am the knowledge of the creation of the foundation of form, gained through spiritual truths, illumined when in service to the one divine heart and mind. I am the knowledge of the creation of the foundation of form, gained through spiritual truths, illumined when in service to the one divine heart and mind. Okay. Now the 2244 frequency, which is a frequency, the second frequency that'll be coming into strong energy play in February, around the 22nd of February of next year, is the 2244 dual frequency. here's the interesting thing about that one is this is a new to us, let's just say, frequency. I have not even retrieved the Metatronic numerology I am keyword phrase for this frequency because it has not been shown to us before now. So I will have that one. I will have to go in. This is terminology that I use, and I know you all understand what I'm talking about. I will have to go in and retrieve that information and share that at a later time. Now, all of this is connected, once again, to this 2222 gateway portal that's directly connected to the seeding of the Emerald Core work that we began in 2017 and did in 2018. It even goes all the way back, Kyra. I haven't even had a chance to mention this to you yet. It even goes all the way back. This 2222 gateway portal goes all the way back to 2013 when we did the work of the 333 peace portal and the 333 and the 444 and that work at the peace portal there. But anyway, just a little bit of information about this 2222 gateway portal. We did work with it. Trying to remember in notes. Hang on just a second. I think I have it at the very back of all of this. Okay, here we go. It opened for the collective. Okay, in other words, it opened in a fashion that made it very simple and easy and gave access to the entire collective consciousness of humanity during the third seeding of the Emerald Core, and that was on the 22nd of December of 2018. The 2222 Gateway Portal is a very specific type of time travel portal, which when properly accessed and navigated allows access to the vision of Earth's future. It opens and allows access to the knowledge of the future Earth reality created and maintained by the entire collective consciousness of Earth at the highest frequency possible within the region of the first 7 veils of the 7th dimensional frequency plane, otherwise known as the opening dimension of the Metatronic consciousness energy round reality, what some would equate with the vision currently held by many humans called New Earth. Okay, so in other words, this 2222 gateway portal allows the collective to really, it's a time travel portal. It allows us to time travel into a space where the collective is an entirety. And here I'm talking about the entire collective consciousness of Earth, which is more than just the collective consciousness of humanity. There is a difference there. We're not going to go into detail about that. Just know that a lot of people understand that, and a lot of people don't yet. But think about that, okay? If you understand that for the collective consciousness of Earth, the collective consciousness of humanity is only about 1/5 of the entire collective, what makes up the entire collective consciousness of Earth, okay? So in other words, to state it simply, and this is very simply, this is intergalactic work. Okay, I know I'm throwing a lot of information at you. Please just let the information come and flow. You'll be able to listen to this call on YouTube as many times as you would like. I will be posting it after this so that if something sparks, you know, a month from now, 6 months from now, you go, oh, wait a minute, I think I know where I can find that. It'll be there for you. Okay. Now we're going to look at, very quickly, the frequencies, the main frequencies in play today, December 8th, 2019, as Interstellar Comet Borisov is at Perihelion in our solar system. So perihelion means closest to our sun. So it is the closest to our sun, as it's an interstellar object that came in from outside of our solar system. That's what interstellar means, okay? It didn't originate here. It's a passing through. Okay? It came into our solar system. Right now, it is at its closest that it will be to our sun as it continues to pass out of our solar system. And if I'm remembering correctly, it will leave our solar system October, November of 2020. Okay, it came into our solar system sometime between, let me pull these dates back real quick, sometime between November 21st of 2018 and December 13th of 2018. That is the best that astronomers, that's the timeline that they can find, okay? And they did that by looking back at data because they spotted it, and then they go, oh, where did this come from? And they look back at their data, at their recordings, and they go, okay, well, it wasn't here then, and it was here then. So we know it came into our solar system sometime between those points, those dates, all right? And the trajectory and the speed at which it's traveling and all of that tells us that it'll be leaving our solar system. Now, the other thing I want to say very quickly, we need to understand what comets, meteorites, these interstellar, these objects are, these celestial objects are, okay? Comets, meteorites are just the remains of comets, and this one's not going to land on Earth, but meteorites is just the term for pieces of comet that survive coming through our atmosphere and hitting Earth. That's a meteorite. So technically a meteorite is a piece of a comet, all right? But comets are the easiest way, the best way, the quickest way that I think to understand what the consciousness of a comet is their mobile libraries. They gather data and they share data as they, a lot of them have orbital patterns. This one may have an orbital pattern that we're not going to recognize because we can only see basically, we can see outside of our solar system, but we can't follow this thing, with our current technology through interstellar space to see what its orbital pattern might be. Some of them do, some of them don't. Some of them's orbital patterns are so large, humanity is a long way from being able to determine that. But comets are mobile libraries. They gather data. They collect data as they fly by, as they move. This is their job, just like you and I as humans have work that we do. Everything's got a purpose, and their consciousness is they collect data and they share data. So not only is Interstellar Comet Borisov collecting data about our solar system as it passes through it, it is also leaving data that we can access to help us. And that's what we're talking about today, these frequencies and all this information. These are the data that's being left here for us by Borisov as it passes through. Okay? So the main frequency that we being the collective consciousness of humanity, of Earth, okay, are being affected by, are experiencing the effects of. That main frequency from Borisov is the 1188 dual frequency. And once again, please take a deep breath and center yourself as I read the I am keyword phrase. 1188 dual frequency. I am the awakening of the collective divine rational mind. I illumine the knowledge of sacred geometry and divine engineering for all to behold. I am the awakening of the collective divine rational mind. I illumine the knowledge of sacred geometry and divine engineering for all to behold. As you can see, this 1188 dual frequency deals with areas of knowledge such as sacred geometry, very specifically cymatics, water, sound, color, okay, these things. The key here is we are talking about the awakened collective divine rational mind, not the individual that each of us are, but the collective is the individual consciousness it is. The collective, the individualized consciousness of the collective consciousness of humanity. That's what we're talking about. So, through the awakened collective conscious rational mind, access to the knowledge of sacred geometry and divine engineering is gained. Here, as individualized consciousnesses, okay, so here we are talking about us as the individual humans we are. So here is the individualized consciousnesses we are. We begin to realize and understand how important it is that we come to know at least the basics of how sacred geometry, especially, remember, especially related and associated with water, sound, and color, is. We need to understand just some basics of that and how it works in creating our reality, how we use it to create our reality. We need to come to see that the understanding and use of sacred geometry in our everyday lives is vital to being able to create our reality in a balanced and harmonious way, excuse me. So you don't need to be an expert at sacred geometry. You just need to know that this is how reality in our universe is created and work with it on an intuitive level every day, understand it, you know, in the way that it's brought to you. Kyra, anything you want to share here?
Yeah. Before we started recording, I mentioned that I had been attending some conferences, and one of the speakers was also speaking about sacred geometry and even our human bodies. That the what's that word? Fibonacci. Yeah, just the way our fingers are to the knuckles of our fingers are to the palm, are to the forearm, are to the shoulder. Our bodies are designed to be in that sequence or whatever, numeric kind of thing as well. And so when we are consciously creating, whether it's our houses, our cities, whatever, then you're in the flow better than when you try to go against the flow. So I was just going to add that.
Thank you. Yes, thank you. It's very true. Okay, so that is the main frequency. Now, the supporting frequencies, there are, let's see, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 supporting frequencies, I'm going to call them, okay? So that, remember that 1188 dual, that is the main frequency. In other words, that's the biggest energy effects we're feeling. That's what's, you know, these types of things are probably going to be like in our faces, okay? Because that's what's being brought to our attention with this energy, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and what I'm going to do is I'm going to read you the other 4 supporting frequencies, I am keyword phrases, and then we'll just talk just a moment about what each of those is, okay? So once again, if you would take a deep breath, sort of center yourself and get ready for this. Excuse me. These I am keyword phrases. So we have the 99 frequency. I am universal love shining forth. I am universal love shining forth. The 322 dual frequency. I am the sacred structure of all reality, initiated into being through the vision of spirit. I am that which sends forth the movement of creation from within the frequency of joy. 322 dual frequency. I am the sacred structure of all reality, initiated into being through the vision of spirit. I am that which sends forth the movement of creation from within the frequency of joy. The 711 dual. I am the truth of divine intelligence illumined through the spiritually awakened self. I am the truth of divine intelligence illumined through the spiritually awakened self. 811 dual. I am the illusion of physical reality illumined through spiritual revelation and epiphany. 811 dual. I am the illusion of physical reality illumined through spiritual revelation and epiphany. Kyra, I'm being told to ask you if you would like to share here.
Well, what came to mind was that it was the harmonic convergence 87.
Mm-hmm.
That was a collective group conscious decision as well.
Right.
And so when you are speaking of these supporting frequencies coming through, it's going to be hard to say it. Let's see. It's like our individualized consciousnesses are just now getting to the point where they can really awaken and grasp the bigger part of ourself, not only our multidimensional selves, but the multidimensional selves of the entire collective as well. It's like grade school, middle school, college, and maybe an advanced degree. It's kind of the way our consciousness is opening up and thinking, and it's got to become more than just thinking in a grasp, oh yeah, that makes sense. It's got to be with you all the time, where you hold that realization that we are more than this physical being, we are more than just our individualized consciousness, we are multidimensional consciousness within our individual self as well as the collective self. So it's kind of like a spiral of consciousness. So there you go.
Thank you. No, thank you. Okay, very quickly, just a little bit of information to explain these four frequencies, you know, what they are. Okay, so the 99, it holds the energy of universal love and it radiates it out, allowing it to shine forth, wrapping us in its energy. If we are open to it, the 99 frequency will wrap us in a love. Now remember, love here, we're talking about an energy. You know, I think humans, we hear that word love, and honestly, it's a little confusing because love is a frequency. Love is a frequency. It's a word we use to describe and define a frequency that creates realities. So the 99 frequency will wrap us in a love we all know exists, but have just forgotten how to hold as a part of our everyday hustle and bustle existence. I think that's what Kyra was just kind of talking about. We've got to learn to hold this all the time, okay? It also takes, the 99 frequency also holds the energy of completion. And as such, it takes us to a plane or dimension, if you prefer, where we can more easily bring into our field of inner vision Earth's future. It takes us to the edges of the multidimensional realms and allows us to begin to view within them. So from the 99 frequency plane, we're able to behold the vision of Earth and humanity's planetary future existing in the full cloak of our divinity. Okay? So I'm just going to read this information and then we're going to quickly move on. Okay, the 322 dual frequency, a little bit of information about that. It's been active within our planetary field and in our reality for a very long time, but it's been sitting in like a semi-dormant state for the last several thousand years. Because in a basic way, you could say this is the base frequency of co-creation of our collective reality. The state of ego-induced division and separation is what has sent this frequency into the semi-dormant state. So we have to learn to come together in ways we've forgotten due to allowing ourselves to be led by the false knowledge that we've been fed by our lower, it's our ego, but it's, you know, I sometimes I'm not fond about using the word ego in that way, because then that kind of gives ego a bad rap. But it's the ego where here we're talking about, where, you know, it's I becomes the most important thing, and the ego that does not remember that what its true nature is. Okay, and we'll leave that there. Kyra, anything you want to say on either of these before we go to the next two?
I had something, but I lost it. If it comes back, I'll tell you.
Okay, just hop in. Okay, so the 711 dual frequency. Now, this is a frequency is very powerful, and it lends assistance in going on beyond the surface and looking at self. And self here not only means each of us is the person we are, it also means the collective consciousness of humanity as the individual conscious self it is. All right, so here we see we're really talking more about the collective. This is collective work. Remember, this is an interstellar object. This is something far beyond even, you know, if we use the analogy of the individual human self as related to the collective consciousness of humanity. In other words, we're just a part of it. Well, so is our solar system, just a small, tiny part of a much larger interstellar and galactic and multi-galactic consciousness and reality system experience that we are a part of. This is a part of our multidimensionality, the term we use now, multidimensionality, that we're just starting to learn how to access and live within in a conscious form. Anything there, Kyra, before we do the last one?
It's like what I'm seeing is it's like a human baby. We're different from the rest of mammals in that they come out and they can walk and they can do whatever. It's an intentional thing. It's about consciousness. And so, you know, as a baby, you basically can't do anything, but then as a toddler, you walk, you fall down, you get up. So this is what we're doing in our awakening process. We've been so wrapped up with the individual I, as you said. Now we're getting to the part where you're in school and you're having to interact with playmates, share your toys, whatever, and you become a collective. And you've been saying we're going galactic 2020. That means that not only are we going to just recognize ourselves as humans on Earth, we have to realize that we're bigger, that we're a part of a bigger collective, and have it, like I said a minute ago, not just a passing thought, but you hold on to it all the time. And the same thing with time. I think one of those places where you asked, and I lost it. I had an experience where I was speaking with someone, and we all bend time when we're running late or whatever we're doing, like this morning. And the way that works is when you're focused on anything in the past or anything in the future, I see it as little cogs of like the railroad or the roller coaster ride that holds you into position. So when you're putting your mind, your consciousness on either of those places, you're not in that present moment that is a more fluid state of being. And so when you're bending time, when you're in simultaneous time with your multidimensional selves, you have to be so present that you're not in those cogs, you're not held in those past future places, and you're able to better move around, put your consciousness wherever you want it, past or future, in a bigger sense, not your individual life, but in the collective. Does that make any sense?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
It did. Thank you.
From here to
Appreciate
here,
it.
it always work very well.
Yeah, it's a long ways from here to here. I get it. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So the last one we wanted to look at a little bit, just was the 811 dual. Okay. Remember, this is the one that shows us physical realities and illusion. You know, state it simply. I'm sorry. So it's associated with being able to clearly see through the illusion of physical reality. It's kind of like what Kyra was just talking about. It helps expand it. You know, it helps us to see and remember the truth that I'm going to use the term Cohen. I am not a physical being on a spiritual path. I'm a spiritual being on a physical path. You know, and that's that ego twist I was talking about before. Okay, we know, we understand, at least those of us who are, you know, in this quote unquote spiritual awakened state, right, as humans, that we're not a physical being trying to become spiritual. We're a spiritual being who came here to experience physical reality. Blah blah blah. Long story short, you know, a whole other call, you know, and discussion. Somewhere along the way, for whatever reasons, okay, it got turned around. Okay, and suddenly humans are thinking, oh, well, I'm just this physical being trying to be very spiritual. No. Okay. So remembering that you're a spiritual being on a physical path, right? As we go through our daily lives, once again, going back to what Kyra has said 2 or 3 times now in her statements about remembering this consciously and continuously, okay, every day and every moment, it has to become just a part of our norm where we don't even have to think about it. It's just reality. It is just what is, okay? It's as natural as, you know, the sun comes up in the east and sets in the west, you know, knowledge to us. So remembering this in our daily lives helps us to put every experience, every encounter we have with others, whether it's good or bad, okay, into a more expanded perspective. It allows us to step back and see that the physical world we call reality is really an illusion, you know, and in all honesty, it's just it's a minor part of a larger illusion and experience. But it's a play on a stage that we created for the experience, each experience being an opportunity to help us awaken and grow along this spiritual journey that we call human life right now. That's the 811. That's what it does. So, okay, so those are the supporting, okay, frequencies. So we've got, just to recap very quickly, we've got the 811 dual. I am the awakening of the collective divine rational mind. I illumine the knowledge of sacred geometry and divine engineering for all to behold. Remember the cymatics, the sound, the color, water, 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 water. I want to state that over and over and over. Okay, water.
Right. You could think of Dr. Emoto's work and how when you are in a state of joy and peace and happiness and love, the water molecule photographs as a beautiful, beautiful form. And when you're in those other states that are not as high a frequency,
lower frequency, right,
it's not as pretty. So your body is mostly water. So when you hold yourself continuously in those states of expanded consciousness and not the little I want, then you can think of your entire being as a beautiful
that you become more like the beautiful forms in the water that you're talking about. Yeah, I think that's a great analogy. I love that one.
And the other thing I thought of is as I was talking about those toddler and older stages, it's like when you feel like you have to go, there's different kinds of meditation, different times for different types of meditation. But when you can move yourself from, okay, I have to have quiet, I have to be in my particular chair, run my altar, blah, blah, to a place where you are always the observer of you, the human, in your daily life, what you're doing, how you're reacting and acting with people. And when you're in that place, you're in a continuous meditation, and you can act without reaction when you're in that place, when you're just observing.
I just had, I'm sorry, I just had a humorous thought of myself. I was like, okay, when I can do that in city traffic, I've made it. Okay.
Well, you can tell when you've made it, when it's going better than when you're just stuck and you're angry and,
yeah,
it feels different when you're there.
It does. I'm sorry. That was just the image that popped into my head. Me sitting in traffic in the city. I'm sorry. Okay. Okay. So we had the 1188. I'm just going to read the frequencies, the I am phrases, and then we're moving on because there's still quite a bit more, and I would like to do a little bit of meditation. So 1188. I am the awakening of the collective divine rational mind. I illumine the knowledge of sacred geometry and divine engineering for all to behold. 99. I am universal love shining forth. 322 dual. I am the sacred structure of all reality initiated into being through the vision of spirit. I am that which sends forth the movement of creation from within the frequency of joy. 711. I am the truth of divine intelligence illumined through the spiritually awakened self. 811. I am the illusion of physical reality illumined through spiritual revelation and epiphany. Okay. Now, going back to some of the energies and frequencies and a little bit information about Interstellar Comet Borisov is bringing to us. Okay, we know that it is at today, December 8th, 2019. It is at Perihelion, which means it's closest to our sun in our solar system. Let's see. Hang on. I've got about 3 more points here I want to touch on. I'm trying to kind of get them in the best possible order to make them flow quickly. Okay, when this was brought to my attention, started working on, getting the information, doing the mathematical calculations and things like that show us the information through the use of Metatronic numerology that brings all this information forth. I was working on that, and I was writing actually a message from Navari, who is a member of the Intergalactic Board of Governance. She is the Earth liaison from that board. She made contact with me here a few months ago. I'll be reading her message for us related to this. But I was, just getting all of this together, this information, and someone sent me a link to an article titled "Scientists Discover How Gene Mutation Causes Autism and Intellectual Disability." Well, that article had actually just been published literally just a few hours before I was composing all this or transcribing this, and I just finished a few minutes before that writing down Navari's message to share with all of this. When that article came in and I looked at it, and I immediately went, oh, wow, this is pretty amazing. Because what it did is this talks about a gene. It's gene USP9X, okay? That basically they found this gene. I'm not going to go into the article. It is posted on my Facebook page. If you want to read the article, you can see the information. It's not a long article even, but it's just saying that, they found this gene is responsible for a mutation in this gene responsible for the causes of autism, intellectual disability, and even listed schizophrenia specifically in that. Okay, now the reason I found this so significant was back at the Lionsgate of 2018. Remember, this was just before Comet Borisov. Remember Comet Borisov, this consciousness that we're working with right now, who's bringing us all this information, came into our solar system at the end of November, 1st of December of 2018. Well, at the Lionsgate, Dragon's Gate in August of 2018, we were told that, and I'm going to read just this little bit apart. Once again, this is also in that same post on my Facebook page. Let's see, here's what, where did you go? Okay. Here's what I wrote in that report, just a part of it. This year's 2018 Lionsgate is bringing us information of a more specific nature than usual. This year we are being gifted with upgraded codes that will begin affecting specific biological chromosomes and our human mitochondrial DNA in order to begin acceleration of massive scale evolution of the biological form of humans. Well, what Borisov is actually bringing, I'm going to interject this very quickly, bringing physical molecules into our solar system. In other words, it's like, okay, here, okay, I just had and this is sort of, to me, this is spirit humor, okay? We're always talking about, we see all the effects and stuff of the, what do they call it, chemtrails in our reality right now on the planet, okay? Well, this is kind of a biological, spiritual, positive chemtrail, just so that everyone understands that I'm saying this tongue in cheek, okay? But Borisov is actually bringing molecules. This is how processes of biological, spiritual evolution have always worked within our reality, okay? These comets land on the planet, they survive, they bring this stuff, okay? We can go back to, we had the same stuff happen. Once again, I know I'm throwing a lot of information out, but this is what I'm hearing and this is what I'm trying to share as quickly as possible. We had Comet Izon, we had Comet Lovejoy. These were two major comets back, what were we looking at? 2013, 14, 15, 16. In those years, same thing, okay? So Borisov is bringing upgraded codes about this. We'll talk about that more in just a second. So going back to what I wrote in the Lionsgate report of 2018. So these are necessary biological evolutionary changes that are needed to prepare the physical human form for it to be able to exist within the Metatronic frequency reality that begins opening in the 7th frequency dimension. Remember that 2220 portal? The Emerald Core, all of this. Let me state, this is just the beginning of this biological evolutionary process. This is not something that will be completed in a single human lifetime, but will span many generations and several thousands of linear years. But this process can be expedited by conscious human intent. How quickly this work is completed will be determined by how fast humanity's consciousness expands. The specific chromosomes to begin undergoing, let's just call it, multidimensional gene therapy are the 8th, 11th, 16th, and 22nd, as well as the mitochondrial DNA. Now here, to me, is really the main part of this information. The multidimensional gene therapy associated with these updated codes will begin affecting, most specifically, the evolution of the human brain related to physical size, cognitive abilities, consciousness expansion, spiritual genetics, and future spiritual frequency generations. One of the first daily signs of this will be a big change in how humans, specifically mainstream science, views autism, what is now considered a medical condition, as well as breakthroughs in understanding schizophrenia. Okay, so getting information about Comet Borisov. This link is sent to me, okay, that had just been published hours before me actually doing this work, getting this information, that shared that they had found this gene, that a mutation in this particular gene, okay, causes autism and intellectual disabilities. And listed, it said the USP9X gene also protects several other proteins that may cause intellectual disabilities and autism when degraded. Less severe mutations of this, and excuse me, I don't know the proper pronunciation, ankyrin G protein have also been linked to the development of schizophrenia and bipolar disease. All right. So this was significant because of what Navari had just shared. Okay, now remember, Navari is the Earth liaison from the Intergalactic Governance Board. So now I'm going to move on to sharing what Navari shared with us. Then I'm going to come back to just a bit of information about Mars. And the reason for Mars is because Borisov today is at perihelion in our solar system to our sun. And for us, that is located, Borisov is located between Earth and Mars. So Mars plays into all of this for us, okay, as a collective consciousness of humanity because of what Mars does. Okay, so here's our message from Navari. Interstellar Comet Borisov is bringing organic molecules to assist with the evolution of the biological, spiritual, or physical human form and consciousness expansion. This will assist in the updating and opening of long dormant communications links within the human DNA, thus affecting your ability to consciously communicate with the cells of your biological spiritual form, your body, and therefore affect more rapid change within the physical human form and consciousness expansion process and journey. Interstellar Comet Borisov is also bringing into your solar system and humanity's reality experience updated sacred geometry knowledge, especially as relates to your humanity's relationship within the galactic reality sphere. To access clues to these updates in sacred geometry as related to your reality experience, you will need to look to cymatics, water, sound, color, and other areas of work like it, some presently still unknown to you. Here you will find new information and knowledge for developing biological spiritual technology that will take the human form to the next evolutionary level. We understand that currently many humans have issue with the field of biological spiritual technology known in your reality as AI. We also understand this is because of the ingrained fear this technology will be used for controlling humanity and its collective reality experience. We would like to state that while there is the possibility for the malevolent use of AI technology within your reality, the continued holding of fear of this technology is actually what will make that occur within your reality experience. What we are saying is you must take control of overseeing how this technology is used within your collective reality experience to ensure it is used in the most positive ways, not try to stop its development and use. Your responsibility is to oversee that AI is used so it assists the human biological, spiritual, evolutionary processes. Trying to halt the use of AI technology will not keep the unscrupulous of your reality from using it against you, and not using it will keep you from moving into your galactic biological spiritual form. If humanity is to fully move into its galactic biological spiritual form, the proper use of this technology is a must. Remember, humanity's ingrained fear of this technology stems from its collective misuse of it in past collective incarnations. The civilization known to you as Atlantis being the most recent to your current collective reality experience where this occurred. So, wow. With Kyra, anything you want to say or add there, or?
Well, I just keep seeing that image of, the progression of the human body and relating it to the way our consciousness is expanding. And you know, like when I took my oldest to college the first time, and he was going, you know, out of state, quite a drive away, I asked him if he was scared, and he said, yeah. So you have to face your fears, and he did. And so as we're going on this path of expanded consciousness, you know, as you say, there's ways that something could be, you know, what's it called, weaponized or something.
Mhm.
For the collective good of everything, our expansion, we have to face the fears and go forward. And just like, you know, the child going off to college, you have to get involved with other people, other things, and expand your perception from your family as the mom and dad and brother to the entire college campus and professors and things like that. So that's where we're at in this point. Going galactic means, you know, we can, you know, use all the, we know how movies and books start making things like that more comfortable, more familiar. We have all the Star Trek, the Star Wars, we have all those kinds of movies, Interstellar. And so that makes us more comfortable with where we're moving. And so we have to take it inside and feel excitement and enthusiasm that helps us to move forward, the propulsion force, I guess.
Right.
Another one of those here to there. Don't know if it came out clear.
Yeah, I think it came out fine. I just want to say, to me, right here with Navari's message, I think the supporting frequencies, first of all, especially, okay, well, all four of the supporting frequencies to me are just exactly that, supporting the to be used to move us past these fears, okay, and understand. I mean, we've got, I've just stacked all my papers up. That was not the smartest thing. We've got the 99 about the universal love. We've got the 322, which is about creation, you know, of the collective reality from a place of joy. We've got the 711, which is saying, look at yourself really hard. Really take responsibility for looking at yourself, you know, and then the 811, which says, you know what? Look at the illusion. Create the illusion. Create. So we have the ability, we have the tools, we have the knowledge, we have the know-how, we have the gifts, we have it all. We are it. We are the creation. We are the creation. We have to take responsibility, is what we have to do. You mentioned harmonic convergence back in 1987. That was the day. That was the day we said, okay, we're here. We can do it. We'll be responsible. And ever since, we've been working on being responsible and upping our level of responsibility.
I think it's synchronous too that Dr. Todd Ovalkaitis was one of the speakers at the Albuquerque event as well. And he's doing the pineal toning choirs. And I think December in Hawaii might be the last one. But it's as this comet is coming, this interstellar object is coming through, they will be toning. And what his intention is that we are telling the galactics, okay, we're out of kindergarten, we're ready to step it up. And that comet will take that information on out of the solar system and beyond.
Exactly. And that's what we're doing today with this exact same thing, just in this different form, because that's what I said. Comets are mobile libraries, if you will. They gather data and deliver data. So they're gathering data, they're gathering the message, just like you just shared, and taking it on. Borisov is, you know. So, okay, very quickly before we do go into, and I think we just got the information about what our meditation is going to be, obviously. Thank you. But, okay, Mars. The significance of Mars, okay, in relationship to Borisov and this and everything, okay, is, and remember, Borisov is closest to our sun it's going to get as it travels through our solar system, okay? And in that place related to us on Earth, it's between, Mars is between us and the sun, okay? So in other words, or Borisov is between us and Mars, I'm sorry. So what is significant about this is Mars, the sacred geometry of Mars, Mars holds a 4 frequency, the frequency of square, the cube, the order, the foundation, the work, okay, and service, especially service to others. So as the holder, so Mars, as the holder of the foundation for our solar system, okay, is the holder of the foundation of this, okay, it sets the foundational form for the evolution of the expansion of consciousness in physical matter's form, and it sets structural blueprints into that foundation. That's what Mars does. And that's, so we're getting, okay, all this updated information. Mars is getting updated information. We're not separate, just like we're talking about. It's, you know, we get this, we understand this, we're not separate. And here I'm going to interject very quickly because I actually, a friend and colleague and sister known as Breezy, I saw it earlier today. I hadn't had a chance to talk to her yet. Shared a YouTube video, and I'm gonna share it on my my Facebook page and in the group. I do want to mention the group that we're working with right now, in case people want to join us for the rest of this work in December. But this video was amazing. I did get a chance to watch it this morning, and it was from 60s, maybe 50s or 60s, I want to say in the 60s, when they were doing experiments with LSD, and they were actually, excuse me, talking with subjects who had been administered LSD under clinical supervision, talking to them as they were actually having their LSD trips. Amazing information, but nothing we don't know. Okay, so this is Mars. So with all of that stated, we are going to move into, now, is there anyone that has joined us here live today that has anything they would like to say or anything like that?
I'll unmute them just one second.
Okay, if there is, or a question or just comment they would like to bring in at this point before we go into a meditation, because our meditation, we are going to connect with the message of, or we're going to connect with interstellar, the consciousness of Interstellar Comet Borisov, and send in our message, you know, and by our, I mean the collective message that we're ready. We're ready, and we're learning. So, okay. So, no, all righty.
All right. Breezy?
No, I was just chuckling.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Well, I'm going to mute you again, and if you want, just put it in the chat and I'll unmute you.
Will
Or
do.
you can type it and I'll ask it for you, whatever. Okay.
Okay.
There we go.
Okay. Well, sorry, John. Yeah.
Oh. Oh. Thank you.
All righty. So I'm going to very quickly, y'all know I like my lights here. Let's see if I still have them plugged up. I do. Okay. Just give me a moment and we're going to get ready for meditation.
So I think basically the message is we got to step up our responsibility and our work on a 24/7, 365 level.
I agree, and we were definitely given a lot of information. There'll be a lot more information, and just so you know, Kyra and I will be going back to work. In other words, doing or at least monthly and probably bi-monthly calls like this, sharing information and stuff after the first of the year. I also do want to mention very quickly, through the end of December, this is work there. I created a Facebook page known as Omega 2019. You can find a link to it on my Facebook page, my teacher page. If not, you can private message me if you're interested. It's about work, working on finalizing 2019 in a conscious form as a group collective conscious mind to be better prepared for 2020 and what it is going to bring in and even beyond. So, and I will say, I've been truly amazed and am so honored at the people who have joined that group and the work that they're doing. They're amazing energies, and the cohesiveness of the energy and the way that it melds I couldn't have asked for more. Y'all are awesome, as we say here in Texas. So with that, everyone will find a comfortable position and take a few deep breaths and bring yourself to center. Breathe in and relax. Exhale, releasing all the cares and stresses of the human. For in this moment, we become much more than human only. We become cognizant and aware that we are much more than what inhabits the simple, beautiful, but simple human form. With that, I would ask that we now, as a group collective conscious mind, now project our consciousness into the center of the circle that is created by our coming together for this sacred work. And with that projection of our consciousness, our intention is that we connect and become more than the sum of the parts of our individualized consciousness. We know and understand that in this moment of now, we do intend to consciously connect and communicate with the individualized consciousness known as Interstellar Comet Borisov as it passes through the solar system in which resides Earth, the Earth in which humanity exists. Simply allow the connection link to be created and come into existence. with the communications connections now completed, we'll leave you to communicate in the fashion of the most benefit to you as the individualized consciousness you are, and as the individualized consciousness you are that exists within this group collective conscious mind. To retrieve information, to share information, to move out with Interstellar Comet Borisov into interstellar space. I will call for you momentarily. Ask you to begin preparation for returning into current reality system of humanity. I would like to share personally, very quickly, that in the communications, my personal communications with Interstellar Comet Borisov just now, there was definitely a sense of what we humans would call a feminine energy and consciousness. And I heard her say she is known to friends and family as the pearl of the dragon. I really like that. Does anyone else like to share quickly anything that felt significant to them? Please do so now.
I'll unmute them. What I would say, is that if you haven't ever watched the movie The Host, it's by Stephanie Myers. It's a book. It's a movie. It's about an intergalactic species that comes to Earth, and at first there's conflict and fighting, and then the end of the movie is acceptance and welcoming and things, and it feels like that's where we're going. So you could relate with the movie there. Okay, let me read this. I think somebody doesn't want to say it. This is John, we could just realize that we are quantum. Seems like this is the hardest part for some of us. We will call them training wheels for purpose. As a child, I remember Roger. Roger ride with training wheels because he was afraid of falling. When we would ride behind him, it was clear that his training wheels didn't even touch the ground. He was riding with them for so long that they were bent up and misshapen. They eventually became so bent up that they just fell off his bike, and he never noticed. Eventually, he got a bike that better fit his needs. It didn't come with the training wheels. He went on to win races. Yes, I think that's
awesome. That's awesome.
We have to acknowledge ourselves in our work that we've all done in this lifetime too. That we've been that kid on the bike, and we think we're wobbling, but we're doing pretty good, I think. So
yeah.
Thank you, John. Anybody else have something?
Oh, thank you, John. I really that was great. Thank you. Yeah. So I'm going to turn my lights back up here real quick. So just give me a moment. Okay. I do want to, if anyone else does, they can, I want to share this very quickly because I forgot to before we did our meditation. And this is something new. This is not information I will say I normally get with events such as this and things. But I was shown and told that there are 2 stones that are recommended for working with, well, I'll be honest, right now I'm hearing, because at first I just thought, okay, these 2 recommendations, these 2 stones that are recommended, we're working with Borisov, and they are for working with Borisov. But actually I'm hearing right now that these are the stones of 2020. That these are the stones that are being recommended by this consciousness, let's just say the consciousness of Borisov, to work with during the year of 2020. That is, Numite is 1 stone, and then phenakite, also known as phenacite, is the 2nd stone. I've got a little write-up on each of them. I mean, I know there's a lot of information out there, but this is what was brought to me when these 2 stones were mentioned. Okay. It is said, Numite, it is said to be the oldest living mineral. It is said that it can be used to open, activate, and integrate chakras, provides for grounding, aligns both the subtle bodies and the chakras. It's useful in removing energy blockages, an excellent energy source, which exhibits an electromagnetic energy field. It helps transfer energy from the etheric body to the physical body. It can be used to remove the disturbances in the auric field, helps to shield one from negative forms of energy, enhances memory, and promotes recall of relevant information when required. Oh, Kyra, just get you like a hunk.
I know.
Sorry, I had to. Assists one in transversing changes. Going to be a lot of those. Get ready, folks. Encourages flashes of insight and intuition. Assists in the alignment between the spiritual self and the psychic and astral planes. It's an excellent healer on all levels, helps to reduce anxiety and stress, and helps us to identify those that we have known in previous lives. Now, that's the Numite. Now, the phenakite or phenacite, and I did check because I was like, oh, are we sure those aren't 2 different stones? It's the same stone. Both names apply. It says it grows in many different forms in several locations. I find this very interesting. I have to dig out, and because I know I've got at least 2 or 3 pieces. I need to find out where they're from. Each location is said to have different metaphysical properties. It can be mistaken easily for other minerals. In general, it is said to have the highest vibration yet found in any crystal or stone. Its overall purpose in all of its forms and locations seems to be the grounding of our light body, higher self, or full spectrum essence. I think we can see why these stones are recommended. In our physical body and earthly life, the partnering and integration of that self with our local self in its highest function widely opens the third eye. Some individual location properties are, okay, Brazil, an angelic feminine vibration. Madagascar is associated with the extraterrestrial flow and a powerful tool for manifestation. Colorado, it brings in the enlightened male energy. Russia, most powerful for raising group and environmental energies. A new variety from Zimbabwe, Africa, is thought to carry the highest energy levels of all of the different locations of phenicites. The latter is also known for its clarity and clusters of small, complete crystals. So, you know, just sharing what they shared with me. Anybody, anything else? If not, we're going to get ready to finish up here. Not too bad. I set out for no more than an hour and a half, and as much as I talk, I'm just a few minutes over that. So woohoo me. I'm known for that, I know.
Lisa didn't cut us off.
Yeah, you did great. Thank you, Kyra.
So Zoom thingy. Zoom.
Yeah, I know. All right. So, pardon?
You ready for me to stop it?
Well, just a moment. I want to say our goodbyes. I want to thank everyone who's joined us in real time, everyone who's joined us in no time, no space. This is an amazing time to be human, you know. Might as well enjoy it. It's the only game in town. So thank you all for joining us. I've really enjoyed sharing this information with you all. If you haven't, please follow me on Facebook. That's Essence Cathera's Teacher. You know, follow and like. That way you get notifications of when Kyra and I will be doing this again. And follow our YouTube page. And
I can read what John wrote.
okay, yeah, please do.
John writes, meaning that there is no need to get ready to step up. We are past this. It has been said, don't dream it, be it. Be the change you want to see. Even Jesus said, be like me. I love this. I love what we are doing. This is an amazing time to be a human.
I agree, John. Thank you so much.
Take our responsibility and do it.
Yeah, just do it.
Just do it.
All right, everyone. Until next time. Namaste.
Namaste.
See y'all later. Bye.
Aloha.
Bye.